Okay, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be collecting some questions on my Instagram DMs, comments on YouTube, on Instagram, the emails, and I'll just answer them in these podcast episodes. Now they're going to be marketing focused, so they're more of Q&As about marketing, and they'll vary between like whether it's like Facebook or Google or SEO or whatever the case may be, but it's at least around marketing and growing your business. So let's go ahead and dive straight into these questions. There's only around like 7 because I just want to see how long I'll take on this first go. All right, so first question here, I just picked them, at random and then put them in this list. There's no particular order. First question is, should you pay someone to create a website for you? Now, I see this question a lot. I have a course, online course called SEO for Detailers, will help you rank your website on the first page of Google. And if aside from the fact is that like a few years, I think like in 2017, I made the first video like for me on my YouTube channel saying there's a difference between creating a website and optimizing a website. So like if you can easily go to Squarespace, Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, and create your own website. It's another thing altogether to optimize your website for search results. So like my course, I specifically teach the how to rank your website on the first page of Google, but I don't teach anything about how to create a website. And the reason why I don't is because there's so many platforms, right? If I teach something on WordPress, it's not going to be applicable in terms of where you click, how you move your mouse, where's what on Squarespace or Wix or GoDaddy or Weebly, okay? And if and like the basic, for the most part, every platform, every website platform has the same functionalities. It's just different in terms of user design and all that, like in terms of how you interact with the website. So I don't put an emphasis on this is how you create a website because one, there's so many platforms, right? How you do it here is going to be different from this one. It's going to be different from the other one. Okay. Two is that there is an unlimited amount of content, free content on YouTube and Google that show you literally every single step of the way to create a website. So if I recommend Squarespace, but if you're having troubles with Squarespace on how to create a page or edit a blog or add text or whatever the case may be, you just go to squarespace.com and look at their knowledge base. You go to YouTube, you Google something, and you'll find hundreds of results that teach you whatever it is you want to be taught. So that's why I don't put an emphasis on like helping you create a website because there's so much information that you can access now that takes you through all the steps. And I picked the word specifically create a website, not build a website, because creating a website, again, so many user-friendly website platforms now where you're just dragging and dropping, where there is no code involved. You don't have to code anything. There is no design, anything. You just do the little things you have to do to create your website. Like look back 10 years ago, yeah, you'd have to code it out. You'd have to hire someone. You'd have to like do all these different things to get a website up and running. Nowadays, you pay whatever. Squarespace is like $19 a month plus your $12 annual domain fee, and you're up and running. So all that to say is that I do not recommend you hire someone to create your website. One, if you hire someone else, you won't know how to make the edits or how to manage your website. So that's already one thing, right? You can pay someone to make your website, but then if you want to make any edits, what do? Right? Like, do you keep on hiring that company or person to make the edits? Because more often than not, 99% of the time, the edits that you want are so minuscule and easy to do that you don't need to pay someone to do it. And not only is it that it's so easy that you really don't have to pay someone, but it also takes such minimal time and such minimal effort that it's just so much easier if you learn. And moving forward, like with your business, it just helps to have that skill set to be like, hey, yeah, I know how to manage my own website. Instead of saying, I want a new page created. Let me go hire someone. Like it's very, very simple things. It's going to be a learning curve. Yes, it's going to take time. Yes, you have to learn a few things here and there. But overall, it's very simple to do. So I suggest you work on your own website so you know the ins and outs. You know how to make it work. And it's just a good skill to have. Like it's just a good skill overall to have to be able to manage and work with your own website. Because now if you do move into the search engine optimization part of things, it becomes even easier because now you understand the website, you know the ins and outs. Now it's like tweaking the things to optimize the website for search engine. And it's not that it's hard, but it would take more work if you're trying to optimize your website when you don't even know the basic foundation of how your website works. So I would recommend that you don't hire someone to do your website because it's super easy to do. from what I've seen, if you pay someone $800, $500, $600 to create a website, it's not that much work, to be honest. It doesn't take that much effort. It's not going to be this super like fancy customized website. It's a template from somewhere that they're getting. Like, it's nothing crazy. So I would recommend you work on your own website. If you want to hire someone, sure, but the benefit that you get from hiring someone really isn't there, right? Like, it's not like, I talk a lot about like, you can't learn everything, right? But, if I would say, should you learn how to manage a website or should you learn how to do bookkeeping? I'm going to say learn how to do your website, outsource the bookkeeping. Okay. Obviously, if you're like in finance already, then that'd probably be different for you. But you get the point where like, if there's, some things you want to learn, some things it's just too much for you to learn. It's just, there's too much on your plate. With the website thing, I would say yes, 100% learn how to do that. Okay. Next question. Should you hire someone to do the SEO for you? Same thing. Okay. Same question. Should you hire someone to do search engine optimization for you? Same thing. It is better if you learn it yourself. If you hire a company, right, whether it's an agency or an individual, right, a freelancer, and they're doing the work for you, once you stop paying them for the work, the results and the progress stops. And when the results and progress stops, then what do you do? Right? Do you know what to do? Do you know the next steps? Do you know where they stop? Do you know what the next thing they're going to do? No. So now you're kind of just stuck, you're kind of in limbo mode because you're like, what am I supposed to do now? Let me go hire someone else. So let's say, you hired someone and you're getting results, right? Let's say 6 months down the road, your phone's ringing, things are going well, and you're like, I'm getting results, I'm getting customers. I don't think I need to be paying this agency or freelancer anymore. All right. So I'm gonna cut the relationship and, I'm good. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you're still getting results. But what happens when the results slow down? What happens when you're not getting as many calls or emails from the results that you were getting? Again, you're in limbo mode. You have no idea what to do. You can't manage your own campaign. So now what? You're off looking for someone else or you go hire that person again. So it's just, if you don't know the skills, you're just left dead in the water once things go south, right? So you have to continue to pay in order to see progress and results. And if you have the funds, right? If you just, you have a full-time job, you can pay someone to do it. I'll see the validity there. But aside from that, I would recommend you learn the ins and outs of the marketing and do it yourself. Not just SEO, search engine optimization, but Facebook ads, Instagram content. Like, it is much better if you understand it yourself. So moving forward, you can always do it yourself. Like, marketing is an asset, right? Like, that's a very vital skill for you to know and understand moving forward in your business. So I 1000% recommend that you understand, implement whatever marketing you want to do yourself. Now, at some point, like, let's say you are making, $500,000 a year, you have a small team and you can focus on content or marketing or, hiring, whatever. It's like, okay, it kind of makes sense to outsource this work and hire someone as a contractor. Okay, like, that makes sense. But you just starting off, I 100% recommend you do the marketing yourself. Okay, third question is, how much should I spend on Facebook ads? Man, you know how many people I get comments and emails and DMs like, hey, I spent $25 and didn't get any results. What did I do wrong? And it's like, my guy, you spent $25. What were you expecting, like, to make $1,000 in revenue or something? So like a question like that, like, how much should I spend on Facebook ads or how much should I spend on Google ads? It's like, one, asking a question like that already shows that you have the wrong mindset of it, right? Like, it's not like you're just gonna spend $10 today and that's gonna exactly equate to whatever, $500, right? Over time it does, but like, a lot of you guys are like, hey, I spent, $50. Where's my $1,000 in revenue? Where's my 5 customers? Where's my whatever, okay? Like anything, things are gonna take time, right? You have to learn, implement, iterate, implement again, see what happens, and just keep on getting better. So to ask like, hey, how much money should I put into Facebook ad is like, well, I mean, how much can you afford, right? Like, it's just as easy as that, right? Like, if you have the mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna put in $100, and if this $100 doesn't work out, I'm just gonna stop. Like, you're not gonna get results like that. Like, if you're just like, hey, I'm gonna try $25 for a week, and if that doesn't work out, then I'm gonna stop doing Facebook ads. It's like, you're not gonna get any results like that. You're not gonna see anything favorable. If you're like, if this one time $25 doesn't work out, I'm not gonna do Facebook ads anymore. It's like, okay, I can guarantee you then you're not gonna get the results that you want because you're going in it with a full like win it or lose it type mentality. And if it doesn't work out, you're cutting it out. Which the proper way would be like, hey, like I'm making up numbers here, staying generic. Don't hold anything to it. Like don't hold much weight to the numbers that I'm saying. But let's say you're gonna spend $200 for the next 8 weeks. Okay, with that type of mindset, it's okay. The first week, you're probably gonna have crappy results. And as the weeks go on, and as you get more data, and as you're able to, kind of look at what's going on and looking at the numbers and optimizing your campaign, you're getting better leads or leads at a lower cost, or whatever the case may be. But as you're progressing along week by week, you're able to see what you should edit or optimize or delete or take away or add or whatever as time goes along. But if you're just like, hey, I'm gonna spend $25 for 2 days, and if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna stop doing it. With that mindset, it's like, how do you expect to get good results? So when someone asks like, hey, how much should I spend on Facebook ads? It's like, I could already tell, like, with that mindset, it's you're not there with it, right? And don't get me wrong, like Facebook ads, it is a bit scary, right? You're like, if I don't get money from this $50, I just threw these $50 away. It's like, yeah, like if you don't give the platform the respect it deserves to understand what it takes to properly, implement and optimize the campaign, and you're not going to get favorable results. So with something like that, it's like, I would probably suggest you don't run Facebook ads if the only thing in your head is like, I'm going to spend these $40. And if I don't get customers, I'm not going to do it again. If you're going with that mindset, it's probably best that you don't run ads, because I've seen it time and time again. Someone runs ads $40, $50. It doesn't work out in their favor. And they're like, hey, I tried it real quick, but, I didn't get results. So I gave up on it. And I went to, the next thing that they want to try out. So if you have that mentality of like, I probably wouldn't suggest it. But, just answering the question directly now is that, generally speaking, like, the more you can spend per day, the better, assuming that you know what you're doing, right? Like, if you spend $100, but you're just like literally not doing anything, and you're just like, I don't know, you put the most basic settings and you just hope something happens, it's not going to work out. Whereas if you're spending $30 a day, but, you're very cognizant of what you're doing and you're really trying to optimize the campaign, okay, you'll get much favorable results that way than just kind of spending a lot more per day, but not keeping a close eye to the campaign and what's going on. So, it depends. But if you can spend, the more you can spend per day, the better. And I'm just going to leave it like that, super generic, because it's hard to be like, yeah, we'll spend, $17 a day, and then after 30 days, up it up to $25. Like, it doesn't work that way, okay? It's really dependent, like, on so many factors, but just the more you can spend per day, assuming you're actually optimizing the campaigns, the better. Okay, fourth question here is, do you pass out business cards? So we have business cards. The primary reason that we have them is because when we're mobile, people come up to us and they'll ask a few questions, and then they'll be like, hey, do you have a business card? Or they're talking to us and we want to cut the conversation because we have to get back to work. So we'll be like, hey, do you just want me to give you a business card? You can check all our pricing and information there. So we don't really use business cards as like a way to generate leads, right? Like, we're not saying, hey, like, we ordered $500 500 business cards, we have to go and pass them out. Like, we definitely, by no means, do any of that whatsoever. The last time I passed out business cards was probably like 2013, and I did it like once or like one day, and I was like, yeah, this is a waste of time. Like, I'm not gonna keep on doing this. So if you want business cards because you're mobile and people come up to you, that makes sense, just so it could be easier to hand off your information. But by no means are we like, hey man, like, let's really pass out these business cards. Let's make sure we're getting we're putting them on cars or going door knocking. We don't do that at all. I wouldn't recommend that you focus on having business cards to grow your business, right? Like, if you're like, hey, like, I made my business cards. And the funny thing is, like, that's everyone's first go is like, oh, hey, I started a business. Let me make business cards. Like, nowadays, a business card has no value. Like, Instagram, Facebook, like, those things have a lot more value than just having business cards in your pocket, right? Like, I remember when I went to go drop off business cards, so many years ago, in shopping centers, you would just find them on the ground or in the trash. Like, most people don't care about your business card, right? Like, if they have a problem, they're going to, find someone themselves. So it's like the value, or not the value, but the reward that you get from the time that you're investing in passing out business cards just isn't worth it. Like, it's not there for me. Imagine spending 3 hours passing out business cards or 3 hours figuring out Instagram and posting on Instagram. Like, which one do you think will yield you better results with less energy and that's more replicable, right? And scalable? It's going to be Instagram. So that's why, like, nowadays, I wouldn't focus on like passing out business cards because there's this thing called the internet. There's, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I guess, if you want, Facebook ads. Like, there's so many other things that you can do that's on the online digital side of things. That's, again, more replicable, more scalable, more effective than saying, hey, let's go pass out business cards at this shopping center or at, in this neighborhood. I really don't put an emphasis at all on business cards. We have them. We pass them out when someone's talking to us, but other than that, it's not a priority to us at all. Okay, next question is, what's the best content to post on Instagram? Okay, so if you look at all detailers, not all detailers, but if you look at just go through random detailers Instagram accounts, you'll see that most of the content is basically the exact same. What do you get? What do detailers post? Before and after, like action shots, and like it'll be like not even like a thorough caption or anything. It'll just be like something basic. Like literally just spend like 20 minutes going through detailers Instagram, and most of them post the exact same thing, exact same format. And I think I did a Instagram live on this where I said, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, how do you expect to get different results? Okay, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, which is what? Posting stories, posting on the feed, writing some half-assed caption, adding hashtags, and doing that every day. Like if you're doing what everyone else is doing, how do you expect to get different results? So I'm not saying you have to be this super creative person. I'm not saying you have to use, a high-end camera. I'm not saying you have to whatever, but just a general question for you to ask yourself to gauge where you're going is, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, how do you expect to get good results, right? And the thing is, like, you can clearly see, like, a lot of detailers are just copying a lot of detailers, right? Like, it's like literally everyone is just copy and paste to this, to their accounts of doing the same thing. So, look at other industries, look at other types of businesses and see what they're doing and what's, and it's hard to see what's working, what's not, right? Like if you look up to a detailer and they're posting, high-end vehicles, foaming, paint correction, you're like, well, he's busy like that. He's, that's what he's doing. So I guess that's what I should be doing. And you start trying to post the same type of content, but little do you know that, like, the way he gets customers is like primarily through like word of mouth and referrals and nothing about Instagram. Whereas you're trying to focus your main efforts on Instagram and you're replicating what that person is doing, but that person doesn't get customers from Instagram and you're trying to get, it's like, you can't just copy what everyone is doing. Like, yes, it's a baseline, it's a starting point, but let it be just that, a starting point. So what was the question? I'm just kind of ranting right now. What's the best content to post on Instagram? Okay. So like, it's gonna be like if you post a before and after, right? or you document the process of the detail, right? One, make sure that the photos are of good quality. I'm not saying go get a DSLR or anything like that or learn how to use Lightroom. I'm just saying don't let it be some low light, shaky, out of focus photos, right? Make sure that they're well lit, stabilized, and just decent quality photos from your phone. Next is like make your post like a little blog post. Don't just put like 5 words, hashtag, and call it a day. Like, try to put more emphasis on like the process that you did, the problem the customer is having, any specific problem that you had with the vehicle, the tools and products that you use. Like, spend more time writing a caption that's compelling, that's showing like the technical side if you want, that's showing the process that you did, and of course adding hashtags, adding a geolocation at the top, things like that. But again, like, even with me saying that, like, a lot of you would take this and just go with like the most basic format that you possibly can. Look at other industries, look at other services, look at other influencers, look at other creators, and take little bits and pieces of here of different spots, different areas, different accounts, and see where you can fit some of those pieces into your business. Because I'm telling you, like, I'll go through a handful of Instagrams of detailers, and I'm like, man, like, all y'all post the exact same stuff. So again, if you're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, how do you expect to get different results? All right. So keep that in mind when you're moving forward with your Instagram account. Okay. How to market to car enthusiasts and car clubs. Okay, I received this, I think it was like in a DMs or something, or it was like IG Live, and I don't know. But so a good one is to market your services to car enthusiasts, car clubs, car groups, car shows, right? That definitely helps. Like imagine, you would assume that if there's a group of car enthusiasts that already spend thousands of dollars on their vehicle, they're very open to the idea of getting their vehicle properly detailed and cared for. So, that's an obvious market. One way that I did it back in so many years ago is that I sponsored a local truck forum. Now this is going to be heavily dependent on how active your city is. So like Houston, we're a very active car scene. So I think it was $300 for 6 months, and the sponsorship was like it was on a forum, online forum. It was a truck forum, and the sponsorship let me post whatever I wanted in terms of like promotions and stuff. It let me promote my business in the signature. So I would just make like I would document like the process of a detail, and then post it on my listing on my account. And that was one way. If you become a sponsor, like other people try to help you out, and they're like, hey, like we got a new sponsor, XYZ, hit them up for your work. So that's one thing I did. I landed quite a few customers that way. I don't know why I didn't renew it for another 6 months, but for the $300 for the 6 months, like I easily made my money back. And one customer specifically ended up staying with me for years, and that was like $7, $8, $9,000 in total that customer spent with me over a few years. So like that, me spending $300 on the sponsorship was very well worth it to me, because I, from that customer alone, I made my money back tenfold. So that's one way. If you have that type, and a sponsorship not just only going to happen via a forum, right? Facebook groups, car clubs, car shows. Now you want to be a little more cautious, like of just like being a generic sponsor, like at a car show. But let's say you want to go into a car group, right? And this helps tremendously if you have friends that are in the car scene, or that you're in the car scene yourself, and you already have like your network of car friends and car clubs and car groups. Like that already puts you at an advantage. But let's say you want to sponsor a car group. Very simple. I mean, there's no exact science, but what would make it ideal and a win-win situation to where you sponsor them, and then what do they get out of it, right? You want exposure, you want customers. What will help them? What would make it a sweet deal to where they'd be happy to have you as a sponsor, and what do they get in return? So it could be maybe the members of that car group get 10-15% off of your services, and they put their business cards at the shows, or they let's say like put you on the shirts. A lot of them have shirts, stickers. They not to put you on a sticker, but they have like a lot of stuff like merch and stuff. So could they put you like on the shirts? Can they like put you on the banner of their Facebook group? Can they put your business cards at a car show? Can they just let all their friends and car groups and other car groups, can they tell them about you? So it's like there's no specific science to it. It's just like, hey, like I can give you guys 10-15% off, and you guys can rep me at the next car show, or a shirt, or I don't know. Like it's just what's gonna work out for them, right? It can literally be anything. There is no like, hey, what's the best like way to do it? It's just what's gonna work out for them, what's gonna work out for you, right? Don't overthink that part. The next thing that you can do is like if you have friends already that are in the car scene, right? Can you like detail your friend's vehicle, and like they just like kind of shout you out in all those inner circles of car groups, right? Like you don't have to get too crazy with it, right? But it's just like, hey, if you have a friend already and that friend is well connected, like how about you detail their car, and then they like, and your friend just kind of shouts you out everywhere that they go, because they want to see you succeed, right? There's so many avenues that you can go about it. There's no like singular like this is the best way. Just look at what you have, your friends, your groups, your clubs, your shows, and see like, hey, like what angle can I play here, right? Like how can I be of value? How can I, help someone out? How can they help me out? And just kind of just think about, draw up some ideas that can be a win-win situation. You don't have to get too crazy. Like I didn't have any idea of what I was doing, but I was just like, hey, they want a discount. I want to be, in front of other car people, other car shows. So, it wasn't too hard to think. Like I think mine was I just gave an overall discount to the car club. And I think that in itself, like I was a sponsor to the club, and I had plenty of paint correction customers come through just sponsoring the club in itself, like giving them a discount. And then obviously like, when they would go to car shows, they would carry my business cards and put them like somewhere on their vehicle. But pretty simple. Like I give them a discount, I got some of them, like the car members, the car club members, as customers, and then when they went to car shows, they would put their business cards on their windshield or something, and that would happen. So, okay, last one here. Um, is does it matter to have detailing in your does it matter to have the word detailing in your domain? So let's say, like, does it matter to be called zebradetailing.com instead of just like zebraworks.com, right? Maybe like 5-7 years ago, it was probably more important to have the specific keyword in your domain. Like, it would help, and even now I'm sure to a degree it does help. Is it absolutely vital at this point? No, but I would say it would help to have the word detailing in your name, or something detailing related, right? Like auto spa, auto maybe auto clinic or whatever. But it would help to have something related to detailing, auto spa, car wash. That way, like, when they see the name, they can already associate what the domain is, or what your business name is, to the type of services that you offer, right? Because if you're just called Zebra Works, you have absolutely no clue what that business is, right? As a local business. But if you have Zebra Detailing, you can clearly tell it's auto related, it's cleaning related, it's detailing related, it's car wash related. So it does help to that degree to be more, to be better branded in terms, to strangers that can just see your name and be like, okay, I have a sense of what this person does. But just being called Zebra Works, it's like, what do you do? But Zebra Detailing is okay, detailing, right? Mobile detailing, car detailing, auto detailing, interior detailing, right? So it gives you a better sense like that if you have the word detailing. But in terms of like search engine optimization, like, do you have to have the word detailing in the domain? It does help, but again, if you don't have it, is that going to be a make or break deal? No. Is that going to slow you down from getting on the first page of Google? No. But if you can get the word detailing or auto spa or whatever, like, anything detailing related in there, I would say it would help for SEO. But again, not a deal breaker. If you don't have it, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just one of those, like, if you can, sure. If you don't, not a big deal. So I'll go ahead and end it right here. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them down below, or just leave your questions for the next marketing Q&A that I'll be doing. I also grab them from the Instagram DMs, from my emails, from the comments from Instagram and YouTube. So wherever you leave your question, if I look at it, looks good, I'll write it down and I'll answer it on the next one. Check the description box down below if you're watching the YouTube video to download the ultimate guide to start your detailing business. If you're listening to the podcast, you can check it out on Instagram or at my website, and you'll have all the links right there. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one.